if you have the right why, right, and you're purpose driven, and you genuinely want to serve people, then you'll do much greater than trying to just take from people. The more you
Exactly.
serve, the more you'll get in return.
This is Sheila's Take, a podcast where you can hear my take on everything: love, hate, relationships, family, and today's issues with a godly perspective. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Thank you for joining me. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sheila's Take. This special episode of Sheila's Take, we have a remarkable guest who wears many hats, each one brimming with wisdom and expertise. Please welcome Stephen Thompson, a multifaceted individual who can rightfully be described as a best-selling author, a thought leader, an entrepreneur, a mental health advocate, business consultant, and a life coach. With an impressive repertoire of accomplishments, Stephen has become a beacon for those seeking guidance and transformation in their personal and professional lives. His insights on mental health, entrepreneurship, and personal growth has helped countless individuals overcome challenges and achieve their goals. So join me today in welcoming Stephen Thompson on Sheila's Take.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Stephen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And again, I just wanted to thank you for taking part of my second season.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey as a best-selling author and how it ties to your work as a thought leader and entrepreneur?
Well, thank you for asking. So I started writing in school, advocate writer. I started with raps and stuff like that, right? But what brought me to my best-selling book, it's entitled "My Angry Heart: A Simple Guide to Healing from Within." That book was from my childhood trauma, and so I started to dive into myself, and I had bad relationships, bad communication skills, things like that. So I decided to start doing a little self-help work, and that's how I came up with the book. So it's basically helped me deal with issues that arrive from the heart, basically anger that I'm focusing on, because you hear a lot of people talk about the operating system and how the thoughts turn into things, right? So my thing was, where do these thoughts arrive from? And so I was in church one day, and the pastor had a really moving sermon, and he was talking about the purity of your heart. And I said, right? So thinking back to all my relationships and all the trouble and little things I was getting into, I just looked inside of myself. And so, pureness of heart, pureness of thought, which will give you a better life, better actions. So that's pretty much how I came up with the book. And that allowed me to help others. So we have a little, if you go to my website, www.stephenthompsonbooks.com, I have some free resources on anger management, things on dealing with microaggression in the workplace. And so that really started the path to entrepreneurship, life coaching, and helping others.
Okay, so that's kind of what inspired you to become an advocate for mental health. And okay. Okay. But how do you incorporate that passion into your various roles?
Well, it all starts with mental health, right? So if we're not clear of mind, and nothing we touch is gonna ever last, right? So I basically deal with children, just dealing with issues and the trauma that they have in the house, teaching them better communication skills, how to better express themselves. So that's pretty much, I speak on motivation, believing in yourself, and things like that, and how you start something, you don't quit. make a promise to yourself. If you can keep a promise to yourself, then you can keep a promise to anybody. So it starts with yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to first identify the trauma that we have and acknowledge it, right? Because anger, like any other emotion, is valid, right? So
Right.
we have to first acknowledge that, and then the first step is to forgive, right? Forgive ourselves, and then forgive and move on. So from that, we go into just basically helping each other out and being more mindful, staying in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
breathing, taking a step back, and actually taking everything in. So that's really how my entrepreneurship is. So I have students that I coach. I have teachers that I help to,
Mm-hmm.
better effectively deal with each other and just deal with problems that may arise. I'm also in constant therapy. I had a session today. It's a
Mm-hmm.
group of men. We have a therapy session every Saturday, and we share our weeks with each other. What happened in the week. Did you have any outbursts? Were there any troubles? It's basically a men's support group. So that's pretty much my journey. Just
Okay.
helping each other out, helping wherever I can, basically.
Do you still deal with a lot of anger? You do.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
road rage.
Who doesn't? Come on, Sheila. Who
Exactly.
doesn't?
Like, oh my gosh, that's something you can't get around, right? Road rage. But yeah, it's a constant journey. It's a
Yeah.
constant battle. Anger is just like love.
Mm.
So it's just how do we deal with it, right? We have to respond with ability. So we have to response, and then we have to be able to communicate how we're feeling, because I tell a lot of my students that anger is just the tip of the iceberg,
Mhm.
right? That's where it rises to. It
Yeah.
formulates into anger, but there's deeper issues that you might feel that you're not acknowledging, right? So, for instance, we might go to a number 10. You might get mad at a coworker or a student, but there's an underlying issue, right? When you look under the water, right, there's insecurities, whatever the case may be. So if we stop, right, and we acknowledge, okay, I'm feeling this, but why am I feeling this, right?
Right.
What is this? What is this coming from, right? Because the smallest thing will set somebody off, and then it's like But if we take a step back and we start to think, say, okay, oh wow, I'm feeling this emotion, right? What is the thought behind that emotion? And that's what we should deal with first. What's the thought, and where do these thoughts come from? And
Right.
so,
Right.
you know, that's
Okay.
pretty much how we started off.
Hmm. Now you are also a business consultant, right?
Right.
What are some common challenges or obstacles you help clients overcome, and what strategies do you typically recommend?
Well, as far as business, when it comes down to business, engagement, how to target how to market to your target audience, how to define who your target audience is, um, how to basically customize a product towards your target audience, right? So, for example, I do books,
Hmm.
right? And so if we're talking about social media marketing, Facebook is geared to an older crowd, right? Most people might not know that. Facebook is probably geared to around a 35-year-old to a 60-year-old crowd,
Hmm.
where Instagram is a younger crowd, maybe from 18 to 25, and TikTok even younger.
Yes. Yeah.
So we have to,
Definitely.
right. We first need a product, right? A good
Right.
product. So that's the first step. Let's customize a product, and then define the audience, right? And creating your product, what do you want this product to do? Like, it's every product I try to create is a tool used to help.
Hmm.
So after the product is created, then you have to know your who and then your what, right? So what are we doing? Who are we doing it for? And then it's the why, right? Why are we doing this? Because if we're doing it just for money, it's not
Yeah.
going to work out too much,
Right. Right.
So we have to have a genuine purpose in doing things. So
I
that's the
mean,
biggest
yeah.
challenge.
I mean, most people that's, I think, one of the main reasons why a lot of, I'm not going to say businesses, but certain types of businesses kind of don't jump off like they should because of the fact that, okay, that's the main focus. Okay, well, how are we going to make money out of this? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? And when you start off with why you're doing it, you have a purpose behind it, and I feel like you pour more into yourself into it, and all that, everything else will come
Right.
later. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Most people are focused on money, money, money. And
Right.
money's not the only commodity that can be
Right.
gained, right?
Mhm.
You have a lot of things that can be gained, and we have to look at the bigger picture, So for instance, with a book, right? If you have a right message, that can branch off to more than just selling a book. Like I'm not gonna get rich selling a $20 book. I have to
Right.
sell millions of copies, right?
Mhm.
So what I can do is I can turn my book into principles and strategies, right? Which helps in my consulting coaching business, right? And then I also have public speaking engagements
Mhm.
where I can take this and implement some things into the workplace and to college campuses, and they call me to speak. So if you have the right why, right, and you're purpose driven, and you genuinely want to serve people, then you'll do much greater than trying to just take from people. The more you
Exactly.
serve, the more you'll get in return.
That's some good knowledge right there. That's some good
Thank you.
that's some good knowledge right there, brother. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Now you mentioned being a life coach, and how do you approach life coaching, and what specific areas do you focus on when helping individuals navigate their personal and professional lives?
Well, I specialize in anger management,
Mhm.
mental health, right? So, but as far as life coaching goes, it's not just the anger, right? There's a lot of things that come from anger, right? Being able to communicate, right? Being able to have a one-on-one open dialect, no judgment zone, being
Mhm.
able to live in your truth, and being able to stay in your truth, stay grounded, and a lot of motivation, because once you start in business, right, there's no quit, there's no stop, there's no paycheck coming.
Yeah.
Like this is the hardest thing you'll ever do. So a lot of people, I'll ask them like, are you really committed to this? Because there's days I don't eat, I have to feed people first.
Right.
And there's nights I don't sleep, right? I'm coming off of 26 hours now, so I
Wow.
had therapy sessions, I had a talk, and I had a consulting gig all
Mhm.
in the last 26 hours, and then I have to watch my son go to football practice and basketball practice, right?
Because
So
life, of course, life be life, and so you still
life be
got
life.
to you got to do all of that.
Right. And I got to do it again tomorrow. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and once I start pouring into other people, and I'm, I don't need the money. Like that's
Yeah.
not my thing to get paid money. I need the money to eat. Don't get me
Right,
wrong, right?
right.
But there's other ways you can get paid. Like if I see you win, then I win
Right.
automatically. So
Mhm.
that's my focus. I'm focused on helping each other win. I'm focused on building networks, communicating, expressing. Put it in a book. A lot of people hey, put it in a book, write it down, journaling. A lot of things can help us through it. So that's my whole life coaching thing summed up in a nutshell. Just pouring into other people.
Well, I'm a firm believer that when you do good for other people, God God definitely honors that, and he will bless you more because you're not thinking of yourself, you're thinking of others, and you're looking to bless them. So definitely keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing really some good things,
Thank you.
um I don't want to pry too much, but are you able to share some success stories or moments from your work as a life coach or mentor?
Oh yeah, I have a couple students who I've made it to Amazon top bestseller, right?
Hmm.
I have a couple students where I've showed them the process, right? They're finishing their books up. I had one student, he made it two top 10 in three categories on Amazon.
Wow.
I have a guy who went from being like a school custodian, right? And now he owns his own store, right? And
Hit that.
it's all because it's like everything's possible. You
Right.
just have to believe in yourself, trust in God, and if you trust in God, everything's gonna work itself out,
Everything's gonna
right?
work out.
That's the man inside, right? Stop listening to yourself and start listening to God. Stop asking people questions and ask God. So once you do that, he's going to give you all the answers you need, and whatever direction you think you're going, he's going to put you in the right direction, right?
And if
So
you're not, and let me tell you, if you're not on the right direction, he's gonna make it so that you get on that right direction. He's
absolutely,
gonna, he's gonna make that path, he's gonna make that crooked path straight. So with a
absolutely,
matter, you're gonna be on that right direction. That's great. Um, in terms of personal professional growth, are there any particular areas or skills that you believe are especially important for individuals to focus on in
oh,
today's like fast changing world? Because we're constantly moving.
absolutely. First thing is clear and effective communication. It changes everything,
Hmm.
right? It changes even with your marketing, right? You have to effectively communicate what you're doing, what you want done, right? And to build these relationships, we have to be able to articulate our thoughts and our processes to
Yeah,
each other.
yeah.
So that's the first one, communication.
Hmm.
And then to be able to express yourself positively, right? And that's extra huge, right? And to believe in yourself, and develop a work ethic, right? I'm not saying go out here and work 12 hours a day. I'm not saying quit your day job yet.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying if we can get 1% better every day,
Right.
then that's a lot. Like, so make a list, write it down, write everything down, write
Hmm.
what you want down, write where you want to go, where you want to live, what kind of car you want to drive, and
Right.
put that picture in your head and keep it there, right? And but your why has to be stronger than everything, right? So my why is my children. So if if I fail financially, right, the one thing that they'll get is that I didn't have I had the courage to keep going. I had the courage to start. And
Hmm.
once you start the thing, you have to have the courage to see it through.
Yep.
So what I want my kids to take away from it, that's why I put it all in books too. So when I'm gone, they can still read and they can still get that knowledge. But I want them to have the work ethic and the drive to actually start something and not be afraid, because people will tell you you're crazy, especially the background I come from. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you writing books, you know how you start once you start growing, a
Hmm.
lot of people is going to fade. People
Right.
are going to come into your life and people are going to leave out of your life,
Hmm.
right? But
Right.
that's God's plan. That's you have nothing to do with that, right? All you got to do is stay faithful, stay keep your nose to the grindstone, and he's going to give you who you need to have, and he's going to
Right.
take away who's not supposed to be there. So
I believe in reason, season, and lifetime. There are people in your
absolutely,
life for a reason, then there's people
absolutely.
in your life for a season, and then there's people in
Hmm.
your life for a lifetime. And
Yes,
we got
ma'am.
to know which category they fit into. And
Amen.
if we don't get it right, trust me, God's going to get it right. He's going to move those people out of your life, or
Yeah.
you eventually your eyes will open and you'll see it. You
Hmm.
don't want to be, you want to be around like-minded people,
Absolutely.
who have the same goals or the same inspiration and ambition as because
Yes.
why would you want to be around someone who doesn't?
Right.
Because
Right.
then one thing or the other is going to rub off. Either their bad habits are going to rub off on you,
Right.
or
Right.
or hopefully you're going to rub off on them. But um definitely, it's very important. And one of the things I'm constantly writing my stuff down. Actually, before you came on, I have my little book here, God's Gold,
Absolutely.
Growing and Glowing.
Absolutely.
I write everything, everything in this book because
Absolutely.
it's important to, what's the saying, the word? You have a vision. When you have a vision, write it down so you can see it
Absolutely.
plain. Um,
if you don't create the life that you want, somebody's going to create it for you. So
Exactly.
I'd rather be in control of my own life than to
Right.
have all of these environmental factors and things influencing me, because there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of influences out here that we're not even aware of
Right.
sometimes. The stresses of work, the
Mm-hmm.
guy's too slow in front of you, right? You got somewhere to go when
No,
this
I'm
guy's
that.
on your
That's me.
nerve.
That's me. Because I'm always I'm the type of person that I'm like, okay, what time do I have to be there? Okay, well I'll be there maybe. You gotta tell me if you want me there on at 4 o'clock, you gotta tell me I gotta be there by 3:30. And then
Absolutely.
I'm racing. I'm like, oh come on, because I'm always behind the slowest person. No, it never fails. I'm
Absolutely.
like,
Whenever
come
you need to
on,
get there,
come
right? I got somewhere to go. This person is just cruising along. Are you kidding me? And I'm
on.
supposed to be an anger management guy, and it's like, ah,
No, that's it. But and that's how you learn to control yourself. I think that's like
absolutely,
one of the best things when you're sitting in the
absolutely,
car and you got to be somewhere and you just oh my goodness. Um,
absolutely.
let me ask you this: how do you stay motivated and inspired in your own life? And what practices or habits do you cultivate to maintain your well-being?
Well, I exercise as soon as I wake up in the morning.
Hmm.
I do Sally push-ups. If you look it up on YouTube, they're very hard. Sally push-up challenge. I do that every morning, at
Hmm.
least twice a day, right?
Okay.
But before I start, I gotta thank the man upstairs for
Right.
waking me up.
Hmm.
I listen to a lot of motivation myself. I try to get as much knowledge in my head as possible, right? Because I have limited space up here. So I try to fill it with as much valuable information that I can, right? So instead of listening to the radio, I might listen, if I'm driving or something, but I most of the time I'm on a podcast or
Right. Yeah.
getting some marketing advice or how to do a new skill or how to effectively convey a message across, how to speak better. So I always tell people the biggest room in the world is room for improvement, and
Yeah.
we can always use improvement. So 1% is my goal every day. I'm trying to learn something new. I'm trying to add something that I didn't have to the repertoire, and that keeps me motivated because it's like, oh wow, when I look back at my day, it's like I could have done this better, or I could have spoken to this person better, or I could have relayed a message better, or I could have gave a little better advice, because when I'm giving advice, I try not to give advice from my point of view.
Hmm.
I try to just, give information and you take it and you do with it what you want to do with it. But I don't want to be selfish, if I could say that. I don't want to be selfish where I'm telling you what I would do,
Hmm.
because what I would do and what you would do, we know that's two different things.
Right. Right.
And that only comes from communicating and being able to be in your authentic self, being able to walk in your authentic self and being able to tell your story the way it's supposed to be told. And I can't tell your story for you. I can maybe give you some tips and some little streamlining tricks or something like that, but your truth has to be your truth. So
Right.
that's how I stay motivated, because I go through things all the time, like, and I deal with anger all the time, like a lot of things. You'd be surprised at how many things can tick you off, and it's like I have to be very mindful and stay in the present moment, because we're not going to get this back. This is it. After we speak again, we might speak again, but this moment right here, this is a once in a lifetime moment.
Right.
And if you treat every relationship, every moment like that, then you'll find out how special it is. This is a very special thing. It's spiritual. Like I had a talk with a guy before, and I said, we did this probably millions of years ago, right? Because I don't believe the spirit dies, right? Everybody talks about frequencies, right? So
Mhm.
if the TV breaks, right, channel 5 still work, your TV just doesn't work, right? So you get another TV, right? So we
Right.
we we probably did this millions of times
Oh,
before with
Stephen,
different
Stephen,
TV sets,
listen, you sound like my brother. You sound like my brother.
right?
That's a whole
Right?
nother,
So the
that's a whole
frequency,
nother
we get on the
conversation.
same frequency. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I believe in getting that, I believe in positive energy,
Mhm.
I believe in listen to your gut, right? If your gut is telling you there's something not kosher, listen, stay aware, So just staying present in the moment every day, and just taking each breath like it's your last, and you'll watch how your life will definitely change because you don't get these moments back.
Yeah,
You,
yeah, yeah.
we're always living in the future. The
Always.
past is past, so
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is. You Time is something that you never get back.
never. One
That's and it's
commodity.
very important, and people don't realize that. Um, are there any new projects or initiatives you're currently working on, or that that aim to make a positive impact in the lives of others?
Well, I'm always writing books. I have another book coming out. It's called Navigating the Seven Illusions of Life. Right.
Mhm.
So one illusion, right, that we all it's perception, right. So the way you see something, the way I see something is totally different. We can look at the same thing. So if we keep that in mind, then we can actually see where a lot of influence come from, and what kind of triggers our thought patterns, and what makes us react and act the way we act, so that I have another book coming out. I'm finishing up my degree. you know my son's on his way to high school, so
Mhm.
that's a job in itself.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
so he's fighting with me with school, and I'm setting him up. Well, I said, these next 4 years are the most important years of your life. So,
Yeah.
um, if you're not gonna go to college, then we have to figure out a plan because he wants to be this superstar athlete,
Mhm.
and I'm like, there's 7 million applicants and 7,000 jobs. So let's not put all our eggs in one basket. And that's a
Right.
very hard life, like sports. Just
Yeah.
being a sports dad is very hard for me. Like to bring them to
Try being a
practice.
sports. Try being a sports mom.
Absolutely, right? Getting them to practice, getting them to the game, washing the clothes, and oh my gosh, making sure they do. That's a full-time job, and I
Yeah,
commend you on
yeah,
that. That's
yeah.
definitely a full-time job. And so that's a lot of my work. I'm constantly writing. I have a blog. Again, if they go to my website, www.stephenthompsonbooks.com, I have a blog with some free resources on microaggression in the workplace. I help teachers out, uh, the subtleties of microaggression. I help them cope with that stuff because I've dealt with it in
Mhm.
my workplace. And just trying to be an advocate for the youth, because a lot of us as adults, we're already stuck in our ways,
Yeah.
and it's hard to try to change someone's mind, and the hardest thing to do is learn something when you know everything. So
Mhm.
I try to focus on kids, not to be, do this. No, it's just like, just get the information. Get
Right.
the information, and you decide if it's useful or not. But if you don't have the information, then you're doomed.
Mm.
So just open yourself up, stay open-minded, close your mind to some things, right? Because there's a lot of influences out here. I'm sorry, my dog is just
Okay. It's
all
okay.
on me. There's a lot of influences out here. Close your mind to some of those things. Keep open to the information, and make your plan now. Right. I started my plan late in life. I'm almost 50, so
Mhm.
I started my plan late in life. If I can get him to start now, while he's 13 on the way to high school, by the time I told him, by the time you're 18, you should be able to make your own decision. Well, am I going to go to college? If we do the things right in business, you'll have enough money to decide where you want to go, and you
Right.
won't be limited. So
Right.
I was limited. I had to do what I had to do. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I had to stop. I had to start. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to put him on the right path, and I'm just trying to be an example. If I can continue to grow, then hey, what everybody around me. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, so I try to get out of the room if I'm the smartest person. I never want to be. I never want people looking up to me like, hey, what's next? Like, oh no, let me get out of this room. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, that's
Well, you're doing a really good job. You are amazing in what you're doing.
Thank
and
you.
helping others.
And so are you.
Thank you.
So are you.
What advice would you give to someone who is interested in pursuing their passions and creating a career similar to yours?
Oh, you got to start. That's the first thing.
Yeah,
Start, right? And when I started, I didn't know. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I always knew I could write, what first take an assessment of what are your skills, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses, right? Turn your weaknesses into your strengths, right? And like if somebody comes to you for advice all the time, hey, turn that into a skill, right? That's a skill to be able to give somebody good sound advice and educate yourself, right? Everything starts with education and awareness. So start educating yourself and start. And as you start, right? And if it's for you, nobody can take that away. So
right,
start, don't stop.
right.
And just know it's hard, Don't think it's an easy cakewalk. Like I'm gonna start it and I'm gonna just make all of this money. The money it'll come,
Yeah.
but it might not come right away. So have your plan, right? Write down your plan and then take it to God. Because once you take it to God, it's probably gonna get ripped up.
You know what they say, you want to make God laugh, just show him your plans,
Show
right?
him your plan. He
And
gonna
he
look
will,
at you.
be like, no,
Yeah. And
not
then
at
but
all.
nice say, oh, this is what you thought you was gonna do?
Not
Oh,
at
you
all.
going that way, right? Okay, let me show you which way you really going. So
Yeah.
yeah, take it to God and leave it in his hands. My sister is my superhero, and she tells me all the time. She said, "You pay him to do what? You paid to ask this person to, boy, you better take it to God and ask God, and
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
the answer comes. And I'm serious about that.
Mhm.
Like I asked him the other day to remove some people out of my life, and he removed those people. The not the people I thought he would remove,
Yeah.
some totally different people. And it's like, oh wow, I get it now. I get it. Just have faith in yourself, man. Believe in yourself. Believe in something. There's a bigger picture than just me and you, right? This conversation here, if it helps one person, then we did our job.
And that's
But
and that's what I'm hoping. If it's just one person, I'd be happy if it helps two, but if it's one person,
you did
that
your job.
and that's that's what we need more people to do, to get out and try and help and inspire and let people know that okay, you had a bad day. It's gonna happen. God did not promise us that we were not going to have trouble, but he
Right.
promised that he would help us get through it. and
Absolutely.
and and that's something he does, and you're gonna have a bad day. Learn from those mistakes and move on. You
Right.
can't dwell on that. You cannot dwell on that.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer that mistakes will make you stronger. They will make you better, and you
Yes.
learn. You
Absolutely.
I don't know who
Absolutely.
said you learn from your mistakes, and you do learn from your
That's
mistakes.
the data that you need to correct yourself, right? If you
Exactly.
if you never made a mistake, if nobody pulls your coattail and say, "Listen, I think you could have did this a little
Mhm.
different," right? If you're not the type of person that's open to suggestion, that's looking to improve, then
Mhm.
life is going to be hard.
That's
And
right.
I had to learn that the hard way a lot. Like it's like I thought I knew everything, and it's like, no, that's not how it went, or it would have turned out way more better than it did.
Right,
So,
right.
and if we learn, right, learning is a continuous process. It's continual, like it's nonstop, right? There's an infinite world out here, right?
Mhm.
And we done went from I started out with, I'm about to tell my age, beepers to the big box cell phone, to the Commodore 64.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
everything's on the phone. It's like, oh my
Uh,
goodness, like we're
what?
doing
Yeah,
everything from
yeah,
the phone
yeah,
now. So
yeah, yeah.
we've come a long way in just the last 20 or 30 years. So just imagine how far we can go. But a lot of people are stuck in their ways, and that's the hardest thing to overcome. Trying to help someone who knows everything. I don't know everything. I'm just trying to help. And I get it. I learn things from people who think they don't know anything. Like,
Right.
what do you
Yeah.
mean?
Those are the best teachers.
Absolutely. Life experience is life experience, you
Yeah.
know? and there's no substitute from that, so just staying open in the moment, and just being receptive, and just looking at opportunities for what they are, right? And just because you're having a bad day, don't make somebody else have a bad day.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that's just, it's not that bad, because when I look back on it, some of the things that I remember actually didn't happen that way.
But
It's like,
but in our head, it's like, oh,
yeah, but in my head, it was like,
yeah,
hold up. I thought, and it's like, no, it didn't happen like that. That was
yeah,
just you magnifying a situation that maybe you didn't understand at the time, or you weren't willing to understand. And it wasn't that bad, because you're still here.
you still here.
You're still
Yeah.
here. So how bad could it have been if you get to do it tomorrow, and try it all over again and try to
Yeah.
get it right? So you're
Yeah.
still here. And if you're here, if you wake up in the morning, you're winning. And that's 50% of the battle is waking up.
That's
Many
right.
people didn't wake up this morning,
Yeah.
regardless of how they woke up. You woke up, so you
Woke
got a
up,
chance
you
to
know.
change.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
that's amazing. Lastly, I asked all my guests
Mhm.
this. What are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
grateful for?
Oh man, I'm grateful for this conversation.
Mhm.
Right, I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful to be in the moment. I'm grateful just to be here. Right, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to broaden my horizons, and to improve myself. Right, because if I improve myself, then everything else around me improves. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful just to be in a mind frame of knowing that there's a God. You know what I'm saying? Understanding, like, wow, there's some situations where you might not should have been here. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're still here. So take that time to reflect, and to give thanks. I'm grateful to be able to give thanks, and to
Mhm.
be able to meet someone like you, and meet people on the same thought wave, and on the same path in life, just to serve. I'm just grateful to serve.
Well, I thank you, and I'm grateful to meet you. I
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for joining me today. I thank you for the work that you're doing and the work that you continually doing.
Thank you.
Again, what's the name of your book that's out? Please let my audience know.
Uh,
This is no
my,
My Angry Heart.
my angry heart, a simple guide to healing from within. Some
Okay.
tips and strategies to help you get that stuff out of your heart, man, and
Yes.
change your thought process.
Please get Stephen Thompson's book. It's on his website, and I'm going. You said it so many times. I remember it. It's www.stephenthompson.com. All right,
Absolutely. Yep.
and you can get it on his website, and you can get it on Amazon. Right,
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all of that. Yes, ma'am.
Stephen. Thank you so much, and I hope this will not be the last time I have you on my podcast. I definitely want to have you on to talk about some other things.
Absolutely.
All right.
Anytime. Thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you. Thank you very much.
Join me next time where I will continue to discuss more of today's issues. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Blessings to you.